Bonjour and happy new year, all of you. I hope you've had wonderful holidays and that you're excited for this new year ahead. We've had really lovely holidays, pretty quiet and simple, spent with our family. And we also have lots of projects that I hoped I would find time for. And I have to be honest, I didn't really get to do all the things that I wanted. One thing, though, that I really wanted was a coffee table because we were having my family over and we didn't have a coffee table in the kitchen where we have our seating area yet. And I found one secondhand that I thrifted online, and I really wanted to alter it a bit to match the rest of the furniture a little more. So I sanded it. And like I do with all the furniture, the wooden furniture that I get, I like it when it looks unpainted and untreated, just like the natural wood. But when you don't treat the wood, then you get stains and everything on it when you put your glass on the wood. So I sanded this down and then I whitewashed it. So I just used a simple white wall paint, dilute it with water, and then I kind of rub that in like I'm washing the table with it. And then I let it dry. I think, though, that I was doing this outside. It was nearly freezing, and that's never good for painting anything when it's too cold. But I really wanted to get this done before my family would arrive. The reason I whitewashed it before I put a varnish on is because the varnish will normally darken the wood tone. When you whitewash it before, it usually doesn't.
Faut bien frotter, hein?
Oui. J'ai plus envie, mais bon.
I also found the table a little bit too high, so Olav cut off part of the legs and now it was perfect. So I whitewashed it so to make sure that the varnish that I'll put on next doesn't darken the wood tone too much. But it kind of did darken a little more than it usually does. And again, I think that's because it was too cold when I put the white paint or the whitewash over it. But the good news is that it now has almost the exact same tone as the other table that we have, the oak table, dining table. So actually, I was really happy with this result. The days around Christmas were really nice and sunny and pretty warm, actually. That was just lovely. And we also had a whole bunch of new building materials delivered right after the day after Christmas that we all hauled into the house. This is the big project we're currently working on. Olav has spent the past weeks stripping this entire part of the house. This will be our future big living room and our offices upstairs. And we had to strip all of this because we wanted to make sure that all the beams and structural things were okay before we start building a floor and our offices upstairs. I also wanted to install a wardrobe in our current bedroom. So we are creating our offices. We're also creating our real bedroom. But while that's not finished, we are using what is going to be the guest room. And since we thought that would be temporary, we haven't really put things in place to live here comfortably. But what I've learned in the past 6 years of doing renovations is that a lot of the things that are temporary a lot longer than you anticipate. So the opening that you see back there leads into what is going to be a bathroom, which we haven't installed because we simply need that space for all the storage for the things that we have for our rentals, bedding, and a lot. You can imagine how much that is. So, and we don't have a wardrobe because, we're working on our bedroom and we'll do that when the bedroom's finished. But I was getting a little stressed from everything just being everywhere. The reality is, as much as I honestly appreciate the life that we've been able to create for our family, and I know I'm blessed and I know I'm very, very privileged, and this is not like the biggest thing to worry about in the world, I do feel very overwhelmed after 6 years of constantly moving things around. Then we're sleeping here, then that's our bedroom, now this is our bedroom, then that is our kitchen, now this is the kitchen, now this is the storage, now that's where the toothpaste is. I have the feeling that I'm less resilient than I used to be, so I'm trying to put things in place to keep this as comfortable as I can, while Olav honestly is working his butt off to get everything finished. And we have businesses to run and kids to take care of. So I was happy I found this wardrobe because we don't have a lot of space in our stairwell to bring anything that's big up. And this, we could take it apart, which we did. And now we can bring it up and put it back together. And this is a wonderful big wardrobe for a lot of stuff that I can store in here. I want to paint this, but it is too cold and I can't keep all the windows open, and I have to paint it in our bedroom because else I have to take it apart again. So that's going to be for another time, for springtime probably. This is actually really funny. These woolen blankets were in the house when we bought it, and the previous owners had bought them and left them. And there are several. This one doesn't have a tag anymore, but they bought everything they had in the house secondhand, much like we do. We don't buy everything secondhand, but we do buy a lot of things secondhand. And one of the blankets had a mark on it saying these were used at the Hospice de Bonne. That is the hospital that was built in Bonn, in the center of Bonn, in the 15th century, and it was intended to help the poor. So if you didn't have the money to get medical help, you could just go there and you'd be helped. And it was financed by rich people that had very luxurious hospital rooms, and so they made them pay, and then they had this big, you can still visit, it's gorgeous. If you ever get a chance to come to Bonn, it's called the Hospice de Bonne, or sometimes it's called Hôtel Dieu. And there was this big, huge room where there's beds all along the two walls. Really beautiful oak, like alcoves. And then they have these bright red blankets on them. So I guess this one was never really used, but it was used well, now it's a museum, so it's probably used in the museum. I don't know, but it said Hospice de Bonne, and I was like, really? Have these been used there? But it's not, the tag isn't on this one. Anyway, I'm putting this down so I can put my the elements of the wardrobe on here. Voila, so this is what it looks like. I don't like this color, so I will paint it when the weather gets better. And I'm just happy that this is here now. I wanted to take you back to our former living room. You probably don't recognize this. If you go back to really older videos like 2020, 21, 22, you can still see that we're using this space as a living room. This was basically all that was habitable when we bought the house. So where that blue door is, that leads into the extension. That was where the kitchen was. That wasn't heated. So it was really cold in there. Here where the window is, they had made a bathroom. And really there was another room next to the bathroom here. And that was where our boys slept. And it didn't have any windows. And the door that you now see upstairs is what we've created. That will lead into our offices. But basically this floor here, all this floor space, was almost all that we had to live in. And then there was an entrance to the grange, to the barn, where they had built a very simple bedroom, and that's where we were. And these beautiful doors I found somewhere online, and I had to get them. We are going to use them to hide the electric, what's that called, fuse board and everything, when this is going to be turned into our family evening salon or living room. Just looking at this gets me very excited for all that is to come. And I will just need to be a little more patient, a little longer. We also went to Emmaus, the charity thrift shop, to donate lots of stuff. Every time we do little things in the house, we find so much stuff that we can donate. And I also wanted to try to find a book that some of you have recommended, an author that some of you recommended on my last video. So it's Valérie Perrin, I think, if I remember well. And so I went to the section, the P section, and I didn't find any of her books, unfortunately, but I will keep looking for them. Thank you so much for sharing all of your favorite authors in the comment section below that video. I really, really appreciate that. And yeah, that's my little heads up for how we started this new year. And I hope that I can share lots more very soon. Thank you, as always, for being here. And I'll be back with a new video next week.